Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to have a live interview this afternoon with Giovanni Corvaja. Now, Giovanni Corvaja, I think many of you may know because he is in fact one of the best known artist jewelers of our times. And what he has done is he has managed to take gold to places it has never been before. He's taken it down to micron widths. He's worked with it in vacuums. He's done all sorts of things that nobody has ever done before. And that means that he can create objects that nobody had ever before imagined. So let's see what Giovanni's going to show us today. And what's really lovely is that we are going to travel to Italy because Giovanni lives in Todi, which is in Umbria. It's a medieval hilltop town, which I've actually been to, which is quite a coincidence because it's a very small space, but it's really beautiful. And I think Giovanni's going to open his front door us in Toddy. So hi everyone from all around the world. Now I'm going to say that I am going to turn the comments off after a few minutes. Oh, hey, here's Giovanni.
Hello, Maria. How are you?
Very well. We can't hear you very well, Giovanni.
You can't hear me?
A little bit louder. Let me turn up my volume as well.
Okay. Because mine...
Can everyone hear Giovanni okay? Can you let me know? Let's hear you talk, Giovanni.
Hello? Yes, sorry, of course.
Still a little bit low. Is that low for everybody else?
Let's
hear what everybody else is saying. How's the sound, everybody out there? Can you hear us?
Hello?
It's still a little bit low.
Still a little bit low. We might need to move into the inside of the...
Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, people are saying it sounds okay. Thanks, Thomas, for letting me know. Hi, Sylvia. Lots of people there.
Would you like to see a little bit of sunshine?
I think we would. Outside. I think we really would. I'm just going to adjust my sound, Giovanni, in case it's mine.
I just turned the camera on. So this is where we are, actually. This is one of the little streets of Todi. And
can you tell us where Todi is?
This is my little appy, which is what I use to go around, and this is the front door of the workshop. So now we do need to get inside to get a good connection. Todi is really in the middle of Italy. It's if you look at the map of Italy and you point with your finger where you think it could balance, you really get the place. It's in between Rome and Perugia and Florence. In a very quiet, not very connected region. So the town is a medieval town founded before by the Etruscan and by the Romans. And this building in particular, where I have my workshop and my house, so basically up there is my apartment over the ceiling. It was built in the 15th century, in 1490.
Wow.
I think something like that. And with a little bit of modification after, but not very much. So, would you like to have a little...
I think Giovanni, talk us through the different rooms, because you've got some machinery in there that you wouldn't normally associate with a jewelry maker.
Well, I'm very passionate about machinery and equipment, and I tend to they tend to accumulate, actually, because I like them. I think they are the result of the human intellect. It's like they get perfected. So you would see a lot of old tools, like an old fly press. And this is one of the main rooms of the workshop, another fly press. And that is my first rolling mill, which I got when I was 13 years old. So it's like vintage by now. And there is some watchmaking equipment, which I don't use it for watchmaking. Use it for small mechanical parts of my jewelry, or some parts of the toolings, because often I make my own tools.
I think you need to emphasize that, Giovanni, that you actually make your own tools to make your
I,
jewelry
I
because they're so specific to your work.
yes, I if I need something and it doesn't exist, I make it. I just I was taught to think like that. So here, by my master, um, there is a saying in Venetian: if you can't have it, make it out of wood. So if you don't have it, make it.
Well, you
So
certainly do. You certainly do.
this would be is the melting area with the acid, so the wet part, the wet chemical part. And here there is more mechanical equipment. Here in the middle is a 1980s tool maker, lathe and milling machine combined. Is um, an Austrian machine, and this is a bit of a more unusual. It's a surface grinder for the tools when I need very flat surfaces. This makes them perfectly flat.
So this
Then,
is even before you've started making a jewel. You've
yeah,
got all this equipment.
I start with the tooling in a typical project of mine. I consider, okay, this is what I want to make. There is going to be 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month of tooling, and then the job can start. In this part, we have some. It's very crowded, so it's very difficult to show you the whole machine. But mainly in here there are four pantographs, which are the predecessor of a plotter, of like a 3D plotter. These are all from the 50s or the 60s. Two of them are Italian and two are German. And again, probably I wouldn't need four of them, but they are such beautiful machines that if you see them on eBay or in somewhere left, I can't resist to get
Well,
them.
at least you've got space big enough for them,
Well,
Giovanni.
it's crowded. It's I like to say my workshop is like has a bit of a Victorian style furnishing. So
Well, Victorian,
everything.
let's say even medieval.
Yeah, yes. And then if we go through, like, that's the door where we came in from. There are some benches because a couple of times a year I run some master classes for a uh, maximum of 4 people. So I have two double benches, and here is where we would be working. Unfortunately, because of the situation this year, I had to cancel 2 weeks of master classes in May.
Could you check on your phone?
And then if we go here, there is a type of a corridor with my collection of hammers. I'm not really a silversmith, but every so often I like stakes and going down more stakes.
Okay, does anybody else have that many hammers in their workshop?
That's and here general tools, things you might need or things I just might like to have. This, for example, is a very beautiful scale which I never use. It's an analytical scale, which was in the studio of my father. was a professor of chemistry.
So, Giovanni, this might be a time to talk about why you have this passion for fusing chemistry, physics, and jewelry making with gold.
Okay.
Can you tell us why that is?
Well, I was born in a family of scientists. Both my parents now they are retired professors in chemistry, physical chemistry, and my grandparents were two mathematicians and two doctors, general doctors, and that's the way I was brought up with my brothers. One is mathematician, one is a electronic engineer, and one is a lawyer. So there is one that went, and me. So the way, sorry to change it. This is actually the bench where I work most of my time, and that's my. This is an experimental machine. An experimental device, let's say, that we can talk later about it. And if you don't mind, I put the phone on the tripod and we can talk and see the face, if that is okay.
Wow. So you're going to set up to show us your incredible big machine there.
I can show you, yes. Well, if you like, this is this is actually, I don't call it so much of a machine. I call it more of a device. It's an experimental vacuum chamber where I can do. It's an environment where I can do and perform very many types of experimentations.
Giovanni, can I just interrupt? I'm really having trouble hearing you. I
wonder
if it's just maybe speaking a little bit louder.
Okay, I can try to speak a bit louder or to get closer to the.
Okay, I'll tell you what, just give me 1 second. You carry on talking, I'll be back.
Okay, yes, I will. So, yes, I was showing, this is actually the room where I spend most of my time. Although it looks very new and very well kept, the bench is a bench that was built by the bench was built by my old master, Paolo Maurizio, 30 years ago. And it's actually a very nice relationship I always had with my master. That when I was very young, I was 15, just 16 maybe. I went to work at his atelier, and after a few years I worked there. He decided to change the benches, and he gave me his old bench, and he made this new bench. And and so I worked all my life. I worked on a bench from my master, and that is something for me symbolic, and it's like a continuity of the craft, the trade, from one generation to the next.
Okay, I'm sorry, Giovanni, I can hardly hear you, so I can't ask questions. So I'm just going to leave you to run, yeah?
Okay, but can you ask other people hearing me, or?
I think so, and I've just been to check on another phone, and it's all fine. I don't know why just me and you can't hear each other very much.
Okay.
So just carry on, and I'll do what I can, but I know that you can talk, Giovanni. You don't need me.
Okay. Now I'm in panic. I'm alone. Well, I can turn the camera. I can hear you perfectly well, so you can,
okay, everyone can hear me,
interrupt me and ask any questions.
I'm going to get some headphones. Hold tight, yeah?
Yeah, sure. And meanwhile, I can turn the camera and okay, good. I can see, I can see that the public can hear me. I just turn the
I'm going to try
camera
headphones, see if that works. Just
and
give me a
see.
second, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just let me get this plugged in. I'm here. Carry on, Giovanni.
Okay, I've just turned the camera onto.
Can I hear you now?
You can? Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I just would like to show you some of the pieces that I make. We can start possibly with. I need to turn.
Yeah, someone says, open the boxes, Giovanni.
Open the boxes. Okay, I'm opening the boxes. Possibly this red one has the oldest design, and it was actually, you know, all of my pieces are one-off pieces, so I can't really know what is liked more or less only by comments, of course, or how quickly but it sells. But that depends also where it's shown. And this is an idea that I had quite a long time ago. And as soon as I started working after graduating from college, which was basically uh, modifying the French knitting technique, which is basically a way of making like a mail with a single wire going through some pins, and normally it's done in a round tube. And while I try to modify the principle, is that you have to go into a spiral, but the spiral could be more complex. Could be like an 8 or a double 8. So this is a triangular version. It's one single wire that changes color from yellow to lighter yellow to white, and then back to light yellow and back yellow. So it's composed of several different alloys, and the composition is all 18 karat, but the composition changes very gradually from gold and silver and copper to white gold, and so there is no marked transition from one color to the other, but the color shade. And just because we were talking about tool making, I can show you some of the tool making. Some of the tools I make are much larger, but this, for example, is the tool that I require to knit this necklace. And well, it requires some precision. Otherwise, you see a defect or a gap all along the necklace, and that's why small mechanical engineering is an important aspect of my work. And like that, well, I don't have anymore the necklace made with this tool, and most of them are tools that are used only for one object. And
Well, I mean, that really does take the idea of making a jewel from beginning to end to new heights, starting with your tooling to developing the technique, the tooling, and then the final product, Giovanni. That is very
well,
impressive.
the thing is that I need to enjoy myself making working. Otherwise, it's a job, and and for me, the discovering new things and learning new things, experimenting, that is the most enjoyable aspect of the work. Really, if uh, I learned something from my parent, is really the love of learning something, the pleasure, the joy of learning, and repeating twice the same thing. Um, it becomes tedious. There is not there is something missing, which
You
is
like a challenge, Giovanni.
yes, I do.
Right,
So
that's very evident.
another object which you presented um, on uh, on this on your posts before on your Instagram is this box. It's about well, you see my hand, 80 millimeters in diameter, and is composed of two shells. The inner shell, all that glittering that you see, they are little holes. They are exactly 5,000 holes, and the same on the lid. And on the outer shell, the holes are filled with. Let's see how close I can get. Yes, I can get
And that's great,
with
yeah.
with little granules of platinum. Uh, Actually, and the whole pattern is. You may notice a spiral pattern, which is a quite natural pattern of like the Fibonacci structures. Um, the the question was basically how did I get to this pattern? Was I um, I wanted to put this. Sorry, I'm a bit with the phone in the middle. Um, I wanted to put 5,000 dots in a circle, and and there is a complicated. It's a problem to divide a disk and to space equally a certain number of dots. It's not so easy, and nature is actually mathematically proven that it's impossible to equally space them. You can only reach an approximation. And the closest approximation to equally spaced thing is a pattern of spirals. So there is a relationship of numerical relationship in between the number of spirals, the shape of the spirals, the number of dots, and also in the proportion, the height, and by the diameter. So it's all based on the Fibonacci
And the
sequence.
result is an incredibly beautiful object
It's
with
beautiful because basically nature discovers and finds this way of beauty, and I want to like I don't know. It's like trying to understand the mechanic of the nature to try to reproduce its beauty or her beauty.
fantastic.
Um,
That's beautiful, Giovanni. I know you've got some other pieces to show us, and as we've only
yeah,
got 10 minutes left,
10
let's see
minutes
what
left.
other
Okay.
treats we have.
Um, we have a pendant. Yes, maybe I'm going a bit.
Oh, Giovanni, somebody asks, how much time did you spend on that last piece?
Several months. I don't remember exactly, but I should go and look on my papers. But more than 5 months for sure,
Wow,
because they
almost
are.
half a year.
Yes, yes. They are 5,000 holes on each side to drill, so they are 10,000 and then 20,000 and 10,000 little drops to fuse. So numbers they tend to become an issue. This is another work typical. Sorry, let me just put maybe.
I think it's nice against the dark background. That's it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's a pendant. This is made out of platinum. Sometimes I like to give to take a break from gold and use platinum, and very, very thin filaments of platinum inside. So it's a cage constructed.
Giovanni,
And
how thin are the filaments of platinum?
the filaments are 35 microns, and that's a 0.035 millimeter, more or less half of the diameter of a human hair on average. We change
That is
a lot.
impressive.
And that is also one of my specialty of drawing down the gold into very thin fibers and then playing with the material as if it's a transparent material or a textile material. And what you see inside is enamel, glass enamel, which is fused in front of a flame, a very small flame, like lamp working. So
amazing.
this is one more piece.
And Giovanni, as you're taking that piece out, can you tell me a little bit about your pieces that are in different museums around the world?
Well, they do end up. Quite a few of my pieces have been purchased or donated. Usually purchased by quite major museums. I can't name all of them and I can't remember them, but I must say those that I'm most proud of is a brooch that is in the permanent collection at the Metropolitan Museum in New York, one of at the Victoria and Albert Museum, and one especially at the National Museum of Scotland, where they also made a little video of me working next to the piece to show.
Yeah.
And
because, I mean,
and
jeweler,
actually,
you are the only jeweler who works with these techniques and with this system, aren't you? And
yeah, yes, I took my own way and I pushed it and I kind of went a bit on my own without. I mean, I look around, I learn from people, but not necessarily from goldsmiths. Also from goldsmiths, but from every kind of trade or art.
So tell us
This
about
is.
this, Giovanni.
This is a bracelet that is made the concept, the technique is like the pendant I showed before. It's 18 karat gold. The shape is like a torus, and all these ribs are held together in a tool that I made out of bronze, which it's actually there on the wall, and this connecting segments are actually one single line that goes around and around and around, like a Möbius strip, Möbius. I don't know what's it called.
It's a bracelet, so it opens.
It opens. It opens to a certain extent, so it cannot open all the way around, because I didn't want to interrupt this flow of wires. Let's see how close I can get. You can see that inside the enamel is shaped in a very wild and kind of carnival way. There are little worms, little three-legged caterpillar, or
Yeah, it's great. We can see a lot of detail there.
yes, there is also somewhere, I can't find it, but if you spend, there is also a Pinocchio somewhere.
A Pinocchio?
Yes. I put a Pinocchio, but
my glasses on.
no, I don't know where it is exactly, so it would take
Where
ages
are you,
to
Pinocchio?
find. With a hat and the nose and the two eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, just the head of the Pinocchio. So this is a rigid bracelet.
Fantastic. And as you get out your next piece, maybe you can tell us about what prize this won.
I don't actually have my prizes with me.
No, prize, not prize, prize, awards.
Awards. Well, I got a few awards. Mainly, I took part in some competition in years ago when I started my career, and then I got well, for example, the gold medal of the Bavarian state, which is like a public gold medal given by the Prime Minister of the Bavaria, and the Hofmann Prize, which is a prestigious prize for contemporary jewelry, and a few other prizes. And then I didn't apply anymore to competition for about 20 years. And 2 years ago, I was convinced to apply for the Loewe Foundation Craft Prize, which was fairly new at that time. I didn't know about it. And actually, the true story is that I did make a piece, which is this piece, and it was so fresh and so new for me that I didn't apply that year. I applied the next year.
But this is the piece from the Loewe finalist.
This is the piece from the Loewe Foundation, and it got liked and got into the final of in the competition. And for this, I developed a completely new technique, which, as far as I know, has never been used in goldsmithing in the industry, which is a bonding under ultra high vacuum. Basically, that weird equipment that you saw before, that sphere, the globe, is a vacuum chamber which reproduces inside the conditions more or less that there are out in space. So a pressure that is millions times lower than the atmosphere.
And Giovanni, just to explain for those who maybe didn't see it, that the vacuum chamber was that big round machine that we saw as Giovanni walked into this last room.
Yes, I'm happy to show it again.
I'm not going to ask you to do that, Giovanni.
No, you don't want to. Well, if you like, it's just a quick.
Okay, brave. We can just see the top of your head.
No, yes. Can you see it? Can you see my head or the?
No, I can see the VC3.
The VC3, yes, the vacuum chamber number 3. So basically, in the inside here, there is the absolute vacuum, and all you see at the bottom is water. It was needed to create this absolute vacuum. There are different stages, and this is where actually the whole Mandala Bowl, this object is called Mandala Bowl, was put together. Actually,
it's just amazing to see that, Giovanni, from the workshop where it started to the tools to the.
This is the tool where it was where it started. So basically, I built this. This is like a loom where I started stretching all the wires into a particular geometric pattern, and it turns, so it's easier for me to stretch and it doesn't tangle. This is another of the tools made for a smaller object, and there at the back I'm drawing down some of the wire for the next piece.
Amazing.
So, if you like to go back to the...
Okay, can we have a closer look at the bowl, Giovanni, as you
Yes.
hold it up and see how light it is? And can you tell us how many kilometers of gold wire in that? Because it is amazing.
Well, it's made out of more or less 4 kilometers of wire. There are two different sizes of gold wire. Some, which are the one that you see most clearly, are to give strength and to give structure, and the others are to give volume and transparency. But you can see as I turn it, the light goes through. And actually, most of the volume, it's a quite thick bowl. If it was, well, you can see the thickness maybe in here. Maybe if it was solid, if it wasn't mainly made by air, it would weigh kilos. And while this is 80 grams only, so it's a quite light object.
Amazing.
We can light it.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, this is a bit.
Giovanni, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just say goodbye to you and to say thank you for showing us your incredible world. I have never seen anything like it. And it is an absolute privilege. And I hope that everybody watching has enjoyed it as well.
I would like to thank you for inviting me for tea with you and for
absolutely fantastic.
Nice
and I know that many people were dying to not just meet you in person, well, as close as we can get, but also to see how you work, because you are absolutely unique in the world, Giovanni. And I have to say, it's been a huge pleasure. So thank you again. And I hope we can do this again.
I'm here and I'm very happy to do it. I really have.
We're not going anywhere, right?
At the moment, no, not. And anyway, I will come back here, I hope. Okay.
Fantastic, Giovanni. A real pleasure. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.